Welcome everybody to my bookcase tour. So what I'm going to do in this is I'm going to show you all of the books I have, and there's quite a few of them, so this might be a pretty long video, and I will go over some of the sections and point out what it is, and I will also show you some of my favorite books while we're at it. So let's get started up here. I can't really show you this any better because I'm short, but these are history books. I only have a few of them. I don't really care about it too much. Then up here, it moves into knitting, makeup, completely random books that I just have for fun. Then I have some of my favorite children's book from when I was a kid, and I have some CSI bound editions, as well as a very small section of chick lit over there. So that's not too much because I don't really care about chick lit. And a lot of these books up on the top shelf are also in Dutch. The section we're moving to right now is actually all of the remaining books in this bookcase are English novels. As you might know, I studied English language and literature, so, well, I've accumulated quite a few books during my studies, as well as through a job that I used to have at a public library, and so I just had to buy a lot of books all the time. So this is the first shelf. It's alphabetized A through Z, and we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy over here, which is a book I really enjoyed, as well as Martin Amis' Money is something that I really enjoyed. Jane Austen, always a good read. So yeah, this is just a mixture of classics and, you know, more current novels that have come out. Wuthering Heights is over here, and so this is just a mixture of all English novels that I have. Bill Bryson is a good read if you like to get a lot of facts about certain things and still get a laugh. This is kind of chick lit-ish, but not too bad. This is also a book I really enjoyed. I read it in pretty much in one day, I believe. Another one of my favorites is Willa Cather's Song of the Lark, and Canterbury Tales, which is a must-have if you're an English student and you're studying Middle English. You know, Joseph Conrad, etc., etc. So like I said, a mixture of pretty much everything. We've got Dickens, which all of these books I bought at a certain time, but I don't particularly like Dickens. I've never really gotten the hang of that. This is definitely a book I still want to read, Bret Easton Ellis' American Psycho, because that's the problem with my bookshelf. I have so many books, and I had to accumulate. I accumulated a lot of books because of university, and I didn't get to read all of them straight away, so I have a lot of books sitting around here that I actually never read. So if we move up here, we've got some Stephen Fry up here, which I think that if you want to have a good laugh, then especially The Liar, I like that one. I still have to read 2 of those. But yeah, so that is that. We've got Lord of the Flies, and there's some other things. I have a True Blood book, the first one from the what True Blood is based on. I sort of like that. Didn't care about it too much because I already seen the series, so I'm not interested in reading the other ones. Nathaniel Hawthorne, I'm sorry. Catch-22, which I read and hated. This is my favorite book of all time. This book will save your life by A.M. Holmes. It's brilliant. It's funny. It's cool. It has everything a book needs. Let me see. Another book that I really want to read is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Oh, and also Kerouac's On the Road is one that I really want to read as well. I've never really read anything by beat artists yet, so that will be interesting. And then we move on. There's quite a lot of Gothic fiction here as well. This is a book I really liked, The Road by Cormac McCarthy, as well as Let the Great World Spin by Colin McCann. This is a book I've never finished. I started it 3 times, never finished it. I can't get into that. The entire Twilight series, as well as the illustrated guide and A Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. David Mitchell, which I still have to read as well. I really want to read this one too, Cloud Atlas. And then moving on to this shelf, these are also two of my favorite books. Like I said, I like Gothic fiction a lot, and these definitely fall into that category. They're both about strange characters that do strange things, so that's definitely very Gothic in a way. This is a good book too. I really enjoy this. They're turning this into a movie this year, I believe. God's Behaving Badly by Marie Phillips, which is marketed as a chick lit book, but I totally disagree with that. And there we go. That's the end of this shelf. And then if we move down, we have the entire Harry Potter series over here. A book on the history of New York in novel form, which sounds very interesting, but as you can see, it's really, really big. It's like 1,000 pages. Catcher in the Rye, must read. If you've never read that, definitely do. A complete Shakespeare. I have another one, which is actually a bit more valid, so to speak. This is just a fun and easy one to have. This is my latest purchase, actually. It's short stories featuring vampires from the Victorian period. Vampire Diaries, and this is great too. This is a book on the traces of history in London, which is great. And then if we move over here, I've got some Treasure Island, Dracula. There's some more here. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is a great book too. Lord of the Rings, which is a must-have, which I have to admit I've never read yet. These kind of books are just not really my thing, but again, Tolkien did great stuff for English and Old English research and stuff like that. He's really a great author, not only for books but also in that, as an academic, he really has a track record. This is a great book too. And then we have some more classics: Oscar Wilde, Virginia Woolf, etc., etc. So let's move on to the rest of my bookcase, which we will do right now. Apart from English novels, I also have a bunch of other books, and I keep them categorized shelf by shelf. So right here is sort of my shelf with things that I couldn't fit in with English novels. Some of them are in English, but most of them are actually in Dutch, and they're just other books that sort of fall into a novel category, but they're usually in Dutch, or I have a Bible. Where do you put that? And then if we move down here, I've got a shelf filled with mythology, myth, sagas, folklore, fairy tales, things about elves, that sort of thing, ghost stories, just that sort of thing, because I used to be really into that thing, and I have more of this. If we actually walk around this case, then if we go up here, this is my other bit of mythology that I have. These are the bigger books that it just didn't fit on that other shelf. Yeah, I used to really like that when I was in my teens, as well as what's right next to it, which is mainly this is just, I had to buy this for geography in high school, and the other books are all on Egypt and other ancient cultures, because that was also something that I was really into when I was younger. And then over here, my mom gave this to me. She got this from her mother when she moved out, and I was given this from my mother, by my mother when I moved out. And it looks cool in your bookcase, but it's all very outdated information. But it's an encyclopedia for women. So it's about how to take care of yourself and your kids and all that kind of thing. Right here I have a small dictionary from the 40s, Dutch, English, English, Dutch, Dutch spelling guide, and these 3 books I had to buy for my current studies, which is about language and communication. So that's why those 3 are there. Then the shelf below is not that exciting unless you're into languages. These are all dictionaries and language-related books. So, and they're all English. I have a few Dutch ones as well, but nothing too major. Pronunciation dictionary, phrases. British and American translation dictionaries, thesaurus, you name it, I have it. That's one of the perks of being a language student. So now I'm going to take you by my window and turn it around again to show you the last bit of my bookcase. I have another double bookcase here. My parents gave these to me when I moved out, so these are all study-related books that I had to buy when I was a student or that I bought because I'm still interested in it. So the top shelf right here, what you're looking at right now, those are all literature books. They're all related to literature. They're all backgrounds, or these are anthologies. These are all American fiction. Over here on the left, it's British fiction and Shakespeare. So this is pretty much everything Shakespeare has ever written that's in here. And some other more fun books are up here. Then I can move into this shelf right here, which is actually two things in one. It's, or actually three topics. All of this, I think, up until here, all of these books are actually on philology, which is a part of language studies which focuses on all English before Shakespeare, so before the early modern period. So it's Chaucer and Old English and Middle English and history of the English language, that sort of thing. Then we move into, right here, we have language variation. I wrote my thesis on that, so I still have a few books on that. And the rest of it is all language acquisition and things about words and about language in a sense. So, like these books are just fun. Words that people mispronounce. If you want to sound cool, they're fun. And then if we move to this shelf, I also took some classes on American Studies. I'm sorry about the shading here, but that's because of the light. So these are all books on American history, American culture, American folklore. I also have, the American Constitution, etc., etc. Or the Declaration of Independence. I always mess up that one. And then the shelf below, all of these are my teaching books from high school, as well as my own books from high school, which is always fun to keep around. And then we just get some more literature stuff that couldn't fit onto the shelf up there, as well as some other reference books, just very general. These are actually the two oldest books that I have. I've had these since I was 8 years old, and I don't really read them anymore as much, but I think they're fun to keep. Then over here, you have linguistics, up until here, as well as something on Old English, but this is like how to translate things, and it has text and you have to translate them, so it's more language related. So that's all of this. Then I've got books on journalism, which are mostly books by journalists about the United States or about their profession, as well as teaching books. A few of them are missing because I lent them to a friend of mine, but yeah, those are all teaching material, books on teaching. And then if we move to this shelf, this is all travel books. So if I go somewhere, I tend to buy a book because it's easier than carrying around a really big map, as well as books that I buy when I'm on vacation about certain places. So I have something about palaces in Germany, whatever. And then over here, this is all pretty much music. It's about charts, how albums came to be, etc. And then I have a little bit of philosophy over here. And then the bottom shelf, I'm going to have to get down for that. These are all cookbooks. And then all the way in the corner, which you can probably not even see, but over here, I have a small section of art books. And that's pretty much it, really. So as you can see, the major amount of my books are English novels, and the rest are all, well, different ones. So I hope this gave you some sort of idea of which books I have. If you are interested in knowing exactly all the books I have, if you check out my blog, you'll be able to find my complete overview. I keep an overview in Excel, so you can actually have a look at that. Okay, so thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.